Alright, 2. Decommissioning Activity General Guidance of the Department of Energy Environmental Protection Act. Policy with the decommissioning of the 1994. The Secretary determined it inappropriate with the Department itself with regulating performance of decommission of the provision for the Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act, or CERCLA. Applies to the working group of the Department of Energy Environmental Protection Agency was formed with the self-manner of applying with the circular with the decommission of the result of the effort of the policy with the decommission of the Department of the Energy Facility under Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act signed with May 22nd, 1995 by the Assistant Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency Office of Enforcement Compliant with the Assurance Officer for the Solid Waste and Emergency Response and the Department of Energy Assistant Secretary of Environmental Management. The policy consists with which builds upon with the multi-agency gains for the acceleration of the circular with environmental restoration federal facilities, April 22nd, 1994. Policy established the commission for the activities conducted with the on-time critical removal of the action for the under the circular under the circumstance of the facility to make for the inappropriate on-time with the critical removal of the action for conducting decommissioning activities effective with the integrated with the environmental protection agency oversight responsibility of the Department of Energy lead for the agency for the responsible to take for the holder participation on-time critical removal of the defined explained with the national oil hazard with the substance of the Pilots and Dilution Contingency Act known as the National Contingency Plan found in Title 40 CFR 300 in brief time no time critical removal of the response action initiated under the circular removal of the authority for the conduct of the Department of Energy lead agency authority typically has planned horizon of 6 months or more and integrated safety management according with the life cycle assessment management of the transition planning which will be done with the systematically integrated the safety management system of the management of the work practice at all levels of the Department of Energy safety management safety system policy guidance with identified with the Department of Energy policy 454 safety management system policy and the G454-1 integrated safety management system guide major mechanisms of integrated safety and health of decommissioning efforts to work for the planning of the during which safety documentation facility yearly favor the review of the evaluated decommissioning activities identified with evaluated against existing controls modifications of the control of the identified with is required for the new activities that were previously performed on the safety documentation older if it's able to include work safety health aspect with the fall short with the today with the stand with the requirement revision compared for the crosswords all of the evaluation techniques used to determine the decommission activities may be covered and existing documentation with action supplemental coverage for the such evaluation efforts, especially the perform those who would know of the facility will the more cost-effective vision preparation new safety document work involvement at all levels of safety heads with the analysis planning decommissioning activities and key to the implementation effect elements of the transition. Department of Energy stand with 112098 Section 3 with the integrated safety management system provide with detailed guidance for the developing and implementing integrated safety management system and decommissioning activities further pendency with the reference to integrated safety management system performance expectations and provides information for that may be meaningful with the integrated safety management consideration that have adequately addressed. 3 graded approach. Graded approach application required with the particular project with the activities required with the life cycle with the assessment management with the implementation of the tailoring approach with identified with the Department of Energy Guide 45033 tailoring for integrated safety management applications as an acceptable method for complying with the Department of Energy G45033 with the demonstration with the tailoring integral integrated safety management system application for the tailoring appropriate for all steps of the facility with the decommissioning. The tailors allow for the choice to be made of the engineering administrative the control to provide with adequate protection for the worker, public and environmental during the performance of work, tailoring with a higher level of contractual project agreement to enable the contract with the SL with the general steering with the work of the individual task with the age for the task with the control specifically work with the hazard associated with and is consistent with a higher level of performance expectations. Tailoring permits consider the and difference between the facility with the provider with the meaning with the determined extent with those actions appropriate with the particular facility with the portion thereof, with the depth of the detail required, with the magnitude, with the resource, with the expense, with the particular management element, commentary with the relation relative to the importance with the element of safety, environmental compliance, safeguards, with security, with the magnitude, with any hazard identified with the problematic importance, financial impact with the other facility specific requirements for projects where no legal delegation between the deactivation and decommission exists, but the requirements are integrated with the serve as overall public completion objectives in doing so with the plan, consider the possibility future chain priorities shall be identified with the conditions and endpoints wherever the project may be safely, efficiently slowed down, and accelerated if it becomes necessary to do so. Tailoring is cost effective because it does not demand with a high level of analysis plan with a simple job already covered with the established receive the work involvement and save that early has been improved the cost effective because the employees often those that spent many of the years performing the task during the operation if they have a good understanding of the safety and performance requirement of the decommissioning activities. Tailoring integrated safety management system offers the means to grade activities process for the different hazards associated with the individual facility. Tailoring used to scale the exemptions expectations, acceptable performance of the need of the site activities facility work to be able to perform when applied with the 5 core safety management function. Tailoring promotes a work management system is safe, efficient, and cost effective. Chapter 3 Decommissioning Framework.